You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, following a 6-4 loss in regulation on home ice, and the losing streak reaches 6. I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Pillar. We got the whole Postcast crew at Lalim's Marsh and Pilsy. Please explain to me what the heck I just watched.
You just watched the last, 4 Ottawa Senators games on repeat, essentially. Like, this is just part 5 of that. Like, the Senators, yet again, have another decent performance. They dominated in shots 41-28. They had a lot of the pressure in this game. All the advanced analytics are nice. They dominated even in the face-off dot. Yet, still get a big old L at the end of the day without a single goddamn point. I mean, This is deteriorating into a debacle, Ross. Quickly in November here, no wins again, and Martian, I'll snap it over to you because you might get an angry Pilsy on this postcast. It's not going to be an angry Ross. I mean, I'm building this hill to stand on, and it's crumbling underneath me here.
We're suckers for pain, considering that we're doing these postcasts after every game, and it's almost the exact same story every time. But in this case, I really feel like it was just a matter of them not capitalizing when they should have. In those first 2 periods, guys, they were completely dominating the play. It wasn't even close. You know, I thought for sure that they were going to be able to pull this off. Yeah. And me again, just a complete mush for my own team. Like, I can't see through these flaws. I don't get it. I don't know what the flaw even is. They just can't finish.
Yeah, it's wild. My key to victory was win the special teams battle. If you told me the power play goes 2 for 5 and the penalty kill's perfect 3 for 3, although Brady steps out of the box, they score pretty much right after bang bang. But I would have said, okay, yeah, they probably won, like, I don't know, 4-2. They outshoot Vancouver 41-28, and the game starts about as perfectly as you would like. Drake Batherson scores 50 seconds in. Alex DeBrincat with his 8th assist of the season, Bernard Docker as well. And they carried that until the end of the first period. And this is where you start feeling like deja vu. Another goal in the last 2 minutes of a period.
That's what I talked about today, Ross. That was my key to victory. You can't have that happening.
But they bounce back. Travis Hamonic, the hammer, plus 1,100 to score. Cash it.
Hello.
A little hammer time on that one. They're leading going in the second. And I'm feeling good. We get the great news. We'll talk about more on the actual podcast about Chris Neal having his number retired. You're feeling good after first intermission. And then, sure enough, they beat the wheels off the Canucks in the second period on the shot clock. Possession. They had 19 shots on goal in the second period. Only gave up 8. But yet the score in the period is 1-0 Vancouver. Pilsy, is that frustration that built up in that second period? Did you notice that in how they handled themselves in the third?
I mean, all you had to do is take a look at those ISO shots of Claude Giroux on the bench. Take a look at those shots of Timmy coming off after a shift. Like, these guys were frustrated and not getting anything to show in that second period when, like you mentioned, they just absolutely dominated. The Sens players are like, what is going on here? Like, we really feel like we're playing the way we want to play. Things are working out for us. We're getting our chances. They're just, the momentum goals are killing them. Like, just when they think they have some momentum, and like you mentioned, the first period, they've got a little momentum heading into the break. Then they have a second period where they dominate, but they lose 1-0 in the period battle. Like, honestly, there's a couple little things to get into for like flaws here, but apart from that and the end results here, this isn't terrible hockey, and you should be getting some sort of points here.
They should be getting points, but you think of all nights, on the night where they have Ryan Reynolds,
big deal, yeah,
a prospective buyer for this team, right? You'd think that this would be the one that they're able to get the job done and get over the hump with it. I think they came out flying. Like, they came out with that mission in line, and they were, you know, I'm sure off the ice, the Ottawa Senators were also looking pretty good, bringing out that red carpet for Ryan Reynolds. I think they had a pretty decent crowd in there. They were showing him what the Sens are kind of all about, I think, tonight. It just would have been so nice to get that on ice result. I mean, the way they were playing, I think everybody in that building was pretty fired up for those first 2 periods, but it was just the same old kind of fall apart. And we can get into Nikita Zaitsev and some of his mistakes tonight, because I think that's definitely going to be a topic as well. I mean, I know that's a dead horse at this point, right? But
his game was brutal. He only played 11:45 though, and about 10 minutes at even strength. Still dashed too. Not saying that he was.
And that penalty was absolutely unforgivable. Like, what are you doing there? In no way is that okay. And it's not even like if he takes that penalty and it breaks down a key scoring opportunity or a breakaway or something, then you're like, okay, you got to do it. You got cement boots. You got to do it. But that's just a normal play on the half wall. And Nikita Zaitsev decides to go WWE on him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's thinking there, Pilsy. It's just a kind of a bonehead mistake, and I think at this point too, DJ talked about how some of the outside criticisms might be getting to him. I think those outside criticisms have made their way into the rink. I don't know what he's hearing out there, but he's definitely gripping the stick a little bit too tight. That's for sure, because some of the mistakes he's making are just mental errors, really, is when it comes down to it. That wasn't like a very high danger chance that he was stopping by dragging that man down there.
Yeah, 0-7 now with Nikita Zaitsev in the lineup, 4-1 without him. However, I would say it's beyond just him tonight on the back end. Hamonic giveth and Hamonic taketh. I thought he had a couple of great passes. Like offensively, I thought he actually looked pretty good moving the biscuit tonight, but in his own zone, like, he has to win a battle again. I know Connor Garland's pesky, but he's 5'8". You don't have a big, tough defenseman if you're not going to win a board battle behind your own net in a tie game in the third period with the stakes what they're at. Like, that's brutal. And then how much have we talked about the forwards not having any spatial awareness? I mean, Sanderson's got to be in front of the net as well, but all 3 forwards are just kind of looking around. And Bo Horvat's just wide open. It's like he's playing center field at Fenway. He's got that much room around him. Nobody's even touching him. And he just makes it look too easy. And we're getting a lot of notes in the comments as well, talking about how Cam Talbot certainly didn't have his best game either. But I think you have to look at some of the breakdowns in front of him on that back end. That was absolutely brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at, five goals against as well, there was one in particular I think we can all point to where, it was the Sens were down by a goal, and there was a save that he needed to make where he came out and challenged it, and it looked like the puck went right through his glove.
Is that the Studnicka goal?
That was the Studnicka goal.
Yeah, just slipped through him. Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah, and I think just like from, as a fan looking at that, you can't really point to one thing specifically, but if you were to point at one, then it would be that inability to make that save, which I think was kind of an important save, especially at that time of the game.
So just to run through, if you're listening to this in the car on your way to work on Wednesday morning, it was 1-1 going into the third period. At that point, the Senators have 35 shots on goal. Vancouver has 16. So you're still feeling pretty good after the second period, even though that Zaitsev holding penalty kind of flipped the momentum. Even though Vancouver didn't score on that power play, they were coming off scoring a goal on their own, and then they were able to generate a bit of momentum as well. So they carried it into the locker room, and they came out. That Horvat goal that we just broke down was a minute 16 into the period. And at that point, you could literally hear the rubber being squeezed on the Senators' sticks every time they had it going into the O-zone. It was just like a little fumble each time. Like, they couldn't make a clean pass after. And you can tell, it's not just 6 losses, guys. This is 6 regulation losses with no life in any of them. I get a text from my mom halfway through the game. She goes, here's a topic. When's the last time the Sens scored back-to-back goals in a game? And I said, well, the Vegas game, but it probably didn't feel like that because it was already 5-1 when they started scoring goals.
Right.
But really, before that, when is the last time? Do you have to go back to the Panthers game? Did they even do it in that one? Probably not.
Yeah, they can't get those momentum goals, and that's what it is. They can put together, collectively a decent game, but in short spurts, they completely break down, and all it takes is 2 bang back-to-back goals by the opposition, and they're not able to counter that. They're not able to get 2 in a row on their own.
Yeah, Pinto and then Brady Tkachuk. And remember in the first 3.5 minutes, remember they were down 2-0 when they deserved to be down about 18-0 after that first period in Florida. And then they came out and made it a game in the second before letting that slide away. But you do have to go back then 4 games. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, but it just does show the inability for them to gain momentum from plays when they should. And right now we're looking at a team that at this point they're in their own head. Something has to change. I don't know what. Like, I do agree with a few of the people on Twitter and in the chat here as well that are saying, like, we knew defense was going to be the issue on this team. It was not addressed at a certain point. I don't want to hear about how hard it is to go get defensemen. Ryan Graves last year moved. John Marino moved. These are like inexpensive options. Mackenzie Weegar, you can put an asterisk because he was in a pretty big package. But those other guys were like pretty affordable when you look at the grand scheme of things. A second-round pick and a B-level prospect. B-level prospect for the Senators right now is like the new third-line forward from earlier in the pandemic. People that listen to Making Sense of the Sens will understand that one. But like, we've got B-level prospects. Move some and bring in some like smart pickups. They don't have to be the flashy one. I don't even want Chikrin. Just bring in somebody who can make smart plays consistently.
Well, and Ross, that the second round pick they got from trading Connor Brown, that's what we all anticipated would go along with that. So essentially, like, you're not losing a whole lot of assets from your whole franchise package here. So that's tough when we're in this situation, and we're all trying to be patient and hold out till Artem Zub comes back. But it is like this short-term injury for Zub is seeming like it's been a lifetime.
It really is. It's crazy.
Like, oh my God.
They can't win a game without him, apparently. So, like, the longer he's out, the longer this is going to go on, because that's the biggest gaping hole on this team. While he's out, it's tough on the back end. They get hemmed in like nuts.
So Vancouver doubles up Ottawa in shots in the third period, 12-6. Ottawa still finishes with a 41-28 advantage, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson scores his first of the year to make it 4-2. And at that point, I'm like, okay, see, like, is the season over after 12 games? Then, as they do, they give you a little bit of hope. Tim Stützle finds a seam, and I did not even smile until the puck was dropped because I thought Brady was still offside on the backside. I was like, they're going to call this one back. I'm not even going to bite. I'm not getting excited about this. But they count it. Stützle gets the goal. DeBrincat, another assist. Apparently, he's a disher. Even though he's got 52 shots on goal and only 2 have found the back of the net and only 1 against a goalie. However, short-lived, 55 seconds later, Jat Sanika, the goal you talked about, Martian, as a gotta-have save for Cam Talbot. But it still wasn't done. Claude Giroux on another power play then gets his goal in 4 straight games. Got 5 goals in the last 4 games, 5-4. Then Elias Pettersson. Martian, what's up with the Sens when their goalies pull? I know they get one on the power play, but like, they don't even generate offense.
I was going to point that out. Like, they did end up scoring with the goalie pulled, but it was a 2-man advantage because they still had 10 seconds left on that power play. So it's like, does that count as one of those empty net goals? In my opinion, no, it doesn't.
Put an asterisk on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't count as the one that you need. The reason you pulled your goalie is to tie the game. You know, that's the whole idea. And so, like, for them not to be able to claw their way back at the time that it matters, I know that there's all these little chunks in the third period where they give us hope and don't let us turn our televisions off because we have that little glimmer and we're seeing them take little tiny chunks of momentum at the end of the game, but they're not executing the finish of the game, and they're letting the other team, you know, get ahead. And they just, I don't know, Ross, when it comes to that 6-on-5, you're right. They don't generate anything. It's like they just pass it around the perimeter. Shabbat takes his sweet time out there with you know, breaking it in on the power play and in those 6-on-5s. It's like they just burn the time and they look okay, but they don't get any quality chances.
All right, we're going to break this down a little bit longer, and then stay tuned. The Postcast After Dark will take your questions. I'm sure there will be a lot of them. But first, quick word from our friends at Bet Online. Bet Online is the #1 sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and for great reason as well. You get all your lines there, your player performance props. You can bet on Travis Hamnick to score and make all the money in the entire world responsibly. Of course, you can do that at betonline.net. your home for scores, stats, podcasts, news, and opinions. Check it out, betonline.net, where the game starts. All right, we want to give a shout out to our friends over at Shawarma Palace as well. Ottawa's best food. I'm not even saying fast food. I'm not saying shawarma. Ottawa's best food, period.
The best food in town.
Ottawa Senators' worst hockey team is probably the Sens. I mean, the 6-7s are fourth best team in the country. And don't get going about that suspension, Pilsy. You missed a diatribe the other day.
If you want to see winning hockey in Ottawa, go to the 67s game. I'm not.
Or go see the Bonfires play, Martian?
Yeah, you can go see us play too. 2-0. Let's go. I don't think anyone wants to watch that, Pilsy. But I'm not saying the 67s are better hockey. Because Ottawa Senators are still playing some really fun hockey to watch. Like objectively watching this team play as a fan, like you're in for a funny game or a fun game, or there's going to be storylines and there's going to be stuff that you can point at, which makes these postcasts a little bit easier. But at the same time, we're fans of the team. We want to see them win. So it's so painful.
Pilsy, what was your take on the third period?
I was gonna say love hurts. That was my take on the third period, to echo Martian's point. I mean, we love this team and it hurts sometimes. Like when Drew scored that goal, I did one of these. Like I jumped up and did a quick fist pump, and then I was like, "You pricks! Like I know you're not gonna win. You gave me like a second of happiness, and I know how this story ends. I've seen it the last couple of games, and it was so tough watching that happen because that Timmy goal was electric, but
yeah, sweet goal.
Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. Like,
hey, did that Timmy goal was it going to affect the outcome of the game?
Probably not.
No, not even at that point was it going to. You just knew that the Ottawa Senators were not getting out of that. They couldn't erase a 3-2 deficit to a team that's blown 4 leads already this year?
I know. You would think, like, finally the Sens could flip the script on the team that this was happening to. Like, it seemed like the stars were aligning for this. Martian, like you said, Ryan Reynolds in the building. Let's go. He's a Sens fan. Maybe not after seeing this. I mean, jeez.
And that would have been, the perfect, like, Sensing moment of the season turning. It would have been the TSN turning point of the entire season if they could have just, like, been losing a game that the way that they've been losing, and then to turn it around in front of Ryan Reynolds and in front of, with Chris Phillips' big announcement as well. And I think just like
Chris Nealer, 2 Chris's.
Fair. Oh, sorry. My bad. Sorry. You know what I meant. But with, Chris Phillips was there too, Pilsy.
Yes, he was. Yes, that's fair.
No, but you know what I meant. And like, that would have just been the perfect moment for them to actually turn it around, but they just couldn't get it done.
No, they just simply couldn't get it done. And now they've scored first in 8 games and they've won 2 of them. That's your season stat right there. I think is the most obvious glaring. When you score first, you're supposed to win 75, 80% of the games. You're not supposed to lose that percentage.
Is that an official stat?
No. Wait, what? That they've only scored twice in 8 games?
No, the percentage of the win probability
when
you score first.
Not at all. No, I just grabbed that out of thin air.
Nice, I believed it.
I mean, you got to think it's close. It has to be over 50%.
Well, I mean, like in today's NHL, you can't rely on a 1-goal lead to give you that cushion that you need to actually win a game. But I mean, having the lead is going to help you.
Advanced analytics.
They can't score 2 times in a row. They can't put teams away.
Yeah.
They could have done that in the second period, but they couldn't. They had no finish. And Spencer Martin, I'm not here for the talk. Oh. This guy's looking like I don't know, the next Roberto Luongo in net for the Vancouver Canucks or Corey Schneider when he was there. But he played well in the second period. You got to give it to him, but you can't just give up hope, and you got to keep banging away. And clearly they didn't play it till the final whistle. They played until maybe Bo Horvat's goal at the start of the third period. And then that was painful to watch afterwards.
Yeah, it's almost like they came out of the intermission, got scored on, and then it was just like the whole air came out of the building and the air came out of the team too, right? It was like that huge momentum goal early in that period that really put them away. But I mean, that Spencer Martin, he made 38 saves, would it have been? So that's a good amount of saves for a young goalie. So we got to give him full credit as a goalie for the next show, I think, boys. But
Yeah. But now you're looking at your 12 games in, you have 4 wins, and you have no loser points. No loser points. Like, it to me, the Senators and the St. Louis Blues right now are kind of the joke of the league. Like, St. Louis comes in with good expectations. They're always a good team. They get gut punched 5-1 by Philly tonight. They're 3-8. But Ottawa now, 4-8. Only the Columbus Blue Jackets are worse in the Eastern Conference. That's where things are at right now. And it gets no easier as the hottest team in the Eastern Conference. The 10-3 New Jersey Devils are next in East Rutherford. They've won 7 in a row, 9 of their last 10. And that's who the Sens get to play on the road in their next game. But Pilsy, glass half full. We said going to the week, win 2 of 3, and that dream's still alive, baby. It's still alive. It is.
You're an expert.
Yeah, I mean it is alive, but barely. And Rossi, you know what hurts the most about the Spencer Martin thing is if this would have happened to the Ottawa Senators of last year, the year before, or the year before, whatever, when you get the backup goalie in the back-to-backs, the Vancouver Canucks decided that it was a bigger threat to go up against the Montreal Canadiens, and they want Demko fresh for that game instead of the Ottawa Senators. We're talking about a team that finished a historic 32 out of 32 last season, and they're like, nah, the Sens, that's going to be the easy game. We'll throw Spenny in there for that one.
It's a classic trap game. They trapped us. That was Bruce Boudreau mind trick, I think.
And we ate the cheese.
We totally ate the cheese. That's a classic, like them just thinking that they're mentally stronger than Ottawa and knowing that them putting in the backup is going to give Ottawa that, like, oh, we got this now, boys. And then, it's just reverse psychology. I think they didn't realize what they were getting into. Maybe they didn't take the goalie as seriously as they should have or whatever it could have been, but it was just a veteran move by the Habs, by the Canucks. I don't know why I thought the Habs.
Ross, you tweeted out no excuses. Like what?
Oh, I don't have excuses. Do I sound like I have excuses? This team stinks.
Yeah.
Like,
they kind of do stink. I said, they're losers. They're losers. They just lose.
But that's what we've chirped the Leafs about for years. It's like they have all these talent. They can score highlight goals, but they end up losing the games when they matter most. The only thing is this isn't the playoffs. This is game 12 of the season, and it might already be slipping away. And I think that might be too kind of a way to say it.
Yeah,
it's tough. Sens lose 6-4. We've got plenty more to break down tomorrow on Locked On Senators. We've got Alex Adams, who we were on his podcast Behind the Play recently. Really good dude. He's going to be our Sens Central citizen tomorrow. And Thursday, I'll tease it for the
No, don't do it. You're not. Are you teasing? Are you letting it go now?
I was going to, just because Martian's kind of the peacekeeper in this whole thing. Should we let Martian announce Thursday's guest?
Let's save it for the after dark. The real ones get the sneak peek.
All right. So if you're just listening to this in your car when you get home, tune in on YouTube. The Ottawa Senators are 6-4 losers, and just losers in general. 6 games straight, no points at all. 0 points on the season since, when was it? The Dallas game? The game we gave away tickets for Calvin.
yeah.
That's the last time we won a game.
Oh, we need to get the bones.
We need to do another giveaway here. What are we doing? Oh man,
100%. All right, that's enough for you car listeners, because we'll have a brand new Locked On Senators for you tomorrow. Everyone in the YouTube chat live, stick around. We've got the Postcast After Dark coming up right after I jam out to a brand new song that I think you guys are gonna like. For Brandon Pillar and Lalim's Martian, this has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast. All right, you're listening to the Postcast After Dark. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Pillar and at Lalim Martian. So we realized we have a little chat going on the side here, goalie-friendly group. No standouts tonight. And you know what? I think we're being a little harsh on the individuals if we don't go with standouts, because the team is playing all right in certain aspects. But at some point, you're paid to finish, you're paid to win games, and it overshadows any individual performances, Pilsy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you could mix in a loser point or two, I think a lot of us are feeling not a lot better, but at least you got something to hold on to there, and you've got some sort of relief. But with no points and losing in regulation like this over and over and over and over and over and over, when I got to use two hands in the losses category, that's not good. I don't want to start counting on my toes because we're not math guys here, and that's when it's really out of hand. But the way this November is going, we might be toe counting the losses.
I hope not, man. But this is classic November for the Sens, and I really don't know what else to say about it, guys. It's just so hard to, like, you're right. If they would have just maybe if they win this game, there's so many things that we could point to that are positive about this team. It would make our lives so much easier. But we can't even go to the positive because there's so many things that are not ideal that need to be addressed, that are drawing all of our attention as fans. Like, I think as a fan base, we're all pretty over being fans of a losing team, and we thought that this year would be different, and it's starting to look like it may not be.
Yeah, everything's kind of just dark right now. This team, they're finding new ways to lose every single game. That's what it's coming down to. Like, I thought Drake played well tonight. I thought that Jake Sanderson, again, moving the puck well. He did have a couple defensive miscues, but how much of that is him? How much of that is whatever system they're playing, where it's the look around system, where it's like, oh, should I go there, or should I just watch that guy skate through? And I don't even know what else more to say about the certain defensemen on the back end that we just can't see play anymore. And I thought Shabbat kind of had a couple better moments, but all in all, he probably still wants to be better. Like,
and 29 minutes for Shabbat, like, too much yet again.
Yeah. Well, he's got to make up for the ones they cut out of Zaitsev. So in that regard, at least we're kind of happy about it. But
my official Sen Central standout is Chris Neal. God, he looks good. He looks like he could still
does.
Austin Watson out there,
I would not mess with Chris Neal to this day, and I don't think there will ever be a day where I would want to. He's a beast. Yeah, he looks in fine form, and he had a great interview on TSN too. I thought he came across very friendly and like humble, and just like a good time boy.
Yeah, really good dude. And the guy he was talking with on TSN is going to be back on our show on Friday. I can't wait to get some hot takes out of Mark Mathot the way he's going right now. Can we talk about Luke Shen being able to throw absolute hammers at 32? He was coming in there with one reason, and that was to win that fight.
He almost one-punched Waddy.
Yeah, Waddy went down 3 times in that fight. and the third time he put himself down just trying to get a bit of a takedown to like recover in some way. After, Luke Shen wasn't easing up on him, and he's a big boy to handle. I think Watson realized that he kind of had his hands full there, and he hung in there, but it didn't look that pretty.
He was just eating fists.
Yeah. Fist fajitas for dinner for Watson tonight. But Chris Neal, man, I tweeted out just for fun, and then I want to get Martian. I want to get to your tweet about what Bruce Garriock said at the second intermission about the sale. I thought that was super interesting. Coming out about the whole the many options, which we'll get to because I know you teed that up with a tweet of yours. But back to Chris Neal, I tweeted this out. I said, you always hear about Gretzky scoring 50 goals in 39 games. You hear about Daryl Sittler's 10-point game. You hear about Glenn Hall starting 502 consecutive games, #goalie-friendly-show, and about Teemu Selanne scoring 76 as a rookie. But you just simply don't hear enough about Chris Neal having 0 suspensions and 2,522 penalty minutes. That is a record I don't think we'll ever see matched in the NHL.
0% chance that anyone can match that one. That's like the iron streak of tough guys. Like, to be able to play on the edge, and like, don't get me wrong, he had a few close calls.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And maybe there's times too in today's NHL, but The rules that were given to Chris Neal were the rules that he followed when he played the game. But boy, did he push those limits, right? Like, I mean, the amount of great fights and huge hits and just like momentum swinging moments that he caused for this franchise in some of the most winning times too, right, of the team. He was a huge part of any success that the Sens have really had. You can point to Chris Neal as part of that roster and say that was their fourth line tough guy who hung in there for every great player who ever played for this team. I don't have any issue with his number going up in the rafters. I love it. You don't have 1,000 games played for one franchise very often, and for the fact that he was able to do it, it's really impressive. And so, yeah, he's an Ottawa Senator for life, and I'm happy he's gonna be up there.
Pilsy, what do you think Chris Neal's thinking watching this game develop throughout the night?
I mean, he's probably thinking my equipment's not too far. I could get down here and solve a lot of these issues. Like you guys said, he's looking good. Flesherton, Ontario native. He keeps it going. I bet he's got a couple logs in the fire, that's for sure. And he was a guy that I think the best thing about him is Sens for life, right? Like he played his entire career here, drafted, retired here, over 1,000 games.
Money to stay.
Exactly. And he was one of those guys, I think he was unanimously the best fan favorite, but also the guy other fan bases hated the most. So you love to have a guy like that on your team, and to have him play like that without getting suspended and without kind of, letting things get way too far is pretty impressive for a guy like him. So Chris Neal, I think maybe it's a bit of a stretch to retire his number. I think Ring of Honor would not going to catch me complaining about it, because now that Phillips is coming back with the team, Alfie's back with the team, bring Nealer in. They're all kind of the same group, and if they're working with the team, I think having alumni is absolutely clutch. So great move in my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree. So Ross's standout is Chris Neal. Then that's going to be tough to beat tonight, right? Yep. Everyone's happy with that, and I mean, I got to give an honorable mention standout to Ryan Reynolds as well. I think just him being in the building, nice. It was so cool, right? Like that was such a cool thing, and what a great ambassador he would be for this team if anything ever came of it. Just the fact that he came to a game, I think, is cool. Anyways, it's made a great story, but that's not my Sens Central standout for the game.
Arson, they put him up as the third star on the TSN broadcast. That's where we're at right now, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what does that say, right? The team that beat us can't even get 2 stars on the board.
Amazing. Who's your
Patterson was the second star.
Nice.
My standout. Okay, I got a little bit of amends to make here, because in my Senator stocks, I did give Alex DeBrincat a downward trend emoji, which, I didn't mean anything in particular by that, so I'm going to make up for it right now. But the thing that I didn't like, and the reason I gave that little downward trend, was because, after not scoring a goal, his body language just wasn't what I wanted it to be. I wanted him to be pissed that he didn't score that goal, and he's had so many great A's. And when I see him smiling, and I know his smile is more of a reaction to not scoring. It's just like, are you kidding me here? Like, what's going on? Like, he just has to laugh about it. But I'd like to see him get a little bit more intense here. Like, I need that give a shit meter to be a lot higher right now for everybody on the team. And so that was why I gave that. But Alex DeBrincat tonight was fantastic in all other aspects of the game. Like, if anything offensive was happening, you look at who's on the ice, 12 was usually out there, right? He had those 2 great assists, both primary assists. He was buzzing out there, and they just couldn't quite get it done. And that's the bottom line. We would like to see him score, but I do think DeBrincat had a great game tonight. He did have 3 shots on goal and those 2 assists. So I do think he was creating a lot of offense and doing all the things that usually would lead to him scoring a goal, but just not able to get the goal in the net for himself. But the assists were great. The assists were great.
DeBrincat goal was a Levy lock, so that's a tough one.
And I had it too, as my little gambling corner that I've got going there too. I had DeBrincat anytime as a lock too. It just felt like it was going to be the perfect night for him to get one again, but nope, not tonight.
No, absolutely not. Is it too much? Because last November was obviously a lot going on outside of it, but at some point, like, we have to acknowledge that this team is cursed in November. They're 14-1 in the last 2 Novembers.
It's a curse of November. Yep.
It's a long month.
Brutal, man, because that's exactly when the days get shorter, the clocks go back, it starts getting colder, and like the last thing I need is for the Sens to let me down too.
It could be seasonal depression for the boys. Ottawa's not an easy city in November a lot of the time. It gets colder. You're just used to having a nice summer, and then the weather starts changing. It's just sad times sometimes. Maybe we can blame it on that. Seasonal depression for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, okay. So how do they snap out of it then, Martian? That's where I got to come here with you.
I think they just need to execute. If they do it once, it'll almost just like get the snowball rolling here, right? Like they just need that one thing that they can hang on to and say like, okay, we can do this, we can win. You know what would really help? And this is a thread on Twitter that I got into a little bit with, I can't even remember who I was talking with there, but talking about back-to-back games and not having any back-to-back games early in the year like this. It's making a difference because when they lose a game the way they've been losing games, to be able to get on the ice the next day and say, okay, we can bounce back from this today. Like we have that fresh in our mind, but then they got to sit on losses for 48 or 72 hours in this beginning part of the schedule because they don't have a back-to-back till what, December 3rd or 13th or something like that, Ross?
Not till December.
Second and third of December, yeah.
Second and third. So, I mean, they don't have one for a while, so they're going to need to learn how to kick a loss without having to get on the ice the next day. That's the one thing I would say. Like, it's kind of weird to say that you want a back-to-back early in the year, but if you're losing games, getting back-to-backs would probably help them bounce back at least a little bit because then they just, sit around and wait for the next one, and then it's a snowball effect in the wrong way. Just a quick bounce-back win would be something that would help kill this.
Yeah, certainly would. Pilsy, where are you at with what has to go next? And we'll get to a couple of questions in the comments.
Well, I don't have a lot of answers, so I'll just toss out my Sen Central standout here. I'm kind of at a loss for words. I've been trying to make a lot of excuses for this team during this losing streak, and I think people have been piling up on me, and I'm running out of excuses here. Like I did my best, but this I don't know what's going to change here. So for my Sen Central standout, I'm going to go with JBD. I thought for getting tossed into his first game this season, he played decently. Ross, I set the over-under at 17 minutes. He played just over 17 minutes, most of those with Thomas Chabot. And JBD might fix Thomas Chabot. I know it's still not Thomas Chabot's level of hockey, but if you're looking at the advanced stats here, they were 67% Corsi for. So like 21 for and 10 against here. So like clearly his play is much better when he has a guy like JBD beside him, because for most of the games this year, not only was Chabot below 50%, but he was in like the 30s with Zub for most of those games. So I'm going to give a Sen Central standout to Jacob Bernard-Docker. Also gets an assist, although he did ice the puck, and DeBrincat, good job beating that out. But hey, looks good on the score sheet.
And only the Nodak Sens were the even guys on defense too. We should point that out as well, I think.
We could also point out
like that.
We can also point out if you'd like that almost everybody on what?
Oh, what's this stat going to be? I'm ready.
Oh, almost every player on the Vancouver Canucks had a point.
Yeah, great. Love those nights.
6 out of 18 skaters did not have a point. And one of them was Kuzmenko, my lookout player. So I'm an idiot.
And did you notice the Bruce? There it is.
Yeah, that's bad. That can happen. Like if you're in the rink when that's happening, you got to boo or do something, drown that out. Like that is an ultimate sad moment.
I didn't
think we talked about that. We talked about that in Vancouver, that a lot of Sens fans are there. So there must be a lot of federal workers who are from BC, I guess. It's their only time. And even like it's one of those where the further away it is, people will come. Like if you're in Montreal, you might come down and like try to get both because it's the only time you'll see your team all year, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is how ahead of myself I was getting after the first 2 periods. I was getting ready to load up a tweet saying we got to come up with some ironic way to do the Bruce. There it is, because I mean he's in a hot seat as much as any coach in the league. I think other than maybe DJ Smith is probably the only other one who's sitting in a hotter chair. And I think we're all on the same page as far as like not thinking that DJ Smith should be let go or anything like that. But I mean, Bruce, there it is chance for a coach who's going on a big road trip here and his job is on the line. Like, I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, and you look at it like Bruce Boudreau is 4-1 in his last 5 games. Like, I get that the Canucks started slow, but they're at least winning. Like, this is a team right now that's lost 6 straight in regulation. Like, I want to get to, by the way, that tweet thread that I mentioned, the second intermission, Bruce Gary, potential sale. So you pull that up, but like, look, it's way too early for this. But I also don't know if it's way too early for this, guys.
I mean, these kind of things move fast, right? I think they move fast.
No, Ross. No.
Look where they are, though. I'm not spinning it. Just look where they are.
No.
That's what we're looking
Ross,
at.
This is wrong.
I can't believe this right now.
Yeah, we had 2 comments at the exact same time. Logan says you guys need to stop defending DJ. And Gazbla says you guys need to stop blaming DJ at the exact same time.
How
what are we doing?
Even me, I've said I have no excuses. Like, and Ross said I asked him about no excuses, and he said I got none. The team stinks.
No, the team stinks. I'm gonna spin it.
Whose fault is it? We got
don't.
Can I spin it just once? Let me know in the chat.
No, once. Maybe it'll be lucky.
I'm producing that.
No. Should I spin it?
Maybe spinning it will change our fortunes. I don't think Pillsy let you spin it last year. So this year,
believe this right now.
I think this year we spin it, and then
this is loser talk right here.
This is loser talk.
Tankathon in November.
Oh, yeah. They want it.
People are saying spin it. This
ready?
Is
spin it.
Wait.
All-time low moment.
We gotta
right
get
here.
some. We gotta get some really.
Plus, they're gonna get bumped down 2 spots somehow. Can that happen still?
Some scary music.
No, this is.
I'm so nervous. Let's see how many spins to get to one.
No,
that's what you deserve on that San Jose.
There,
there. That's even worse. We have to stop.
Vancouver. They just beat us tonight in their draft.
We can't do this. This isn't making it better.
Oh my god. That's it. No, I'm taking away your toy.
We got second there. Did you already take it off?
Yeah, I took it off.
I got second. I just spun it like 5 extra times. Could you imagine if Pittsburgh got Connor Bedard, by the way, just in that last spin? That'd be wild.
Yeah. Then
right.
I mean,
it hurts. It sucks. Let's leave it at that for tonight. We got more coming the rest of the week. Locked on.
Wait. Don't you want to announce Thursday's guest?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm gonna announce it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All yours.
This Thursday on the Locked On Senators podcast, nice and early, everybody. Get ready because the boys are going to be interviewing the one and only from Post Media, Bruce Garriock will be coming on the show.
We're a team, all of us.
We're a team.
I am going to ask. I'm not going to just softball question him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy to answer pretty much anyone.
I think we'll show a different side of him.
I think there is a different side. I think that people probably should get to know. I think a little bit better. I don't know. I think he's always kind of got a bit of a bad rap, and I don't necessarily always love just the massive pylon that he gets. So I think you guys are gonna have a chance to turn a new leaf here with this one.
Let's see. We will find out. Let us know what did you learn there from that second intermission. Oh, Curtis. By the way, I would like this on record. I am going to ask him this.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
I mean, Ross, we kind of know the answer.
It's going to be an enlightening conversation, and if I don't get answers I don't like, I'll tell him. And if he doesn't say, we met him at the home opener, and I think that it's going to be good having him on.
I think it'll be good having him on too, but I think we know the answer to that question. It's like once you get to a certain point, you start seeing that stuff too often. It will affect your own mental health, and you just want to remove it when people cross a certain line with you, right?
Yeah, but that's what we're trying to do, and that's why I love dealing with things in podcast form, because we could talk it out. There doesn't have to be any misunderstood, sarcastic comments. It's just, hey, we're giving you a platform to speak to Sens fans. let's figure this out. Because hey, we're trying to flip the script here. We're on a 6-game losing streak. We're about flipping scripts in Sens land here. So
I just don't want you guys to put him in a tough spot. That's all.
No. It's all positivity, and we're giving him opportunities. We're not backing him into corners. How about that?
Perfect.
You like that approach, Martian?
I like that too. Okay.
All right.
So during question period, though, Bruce did drop a few nuggets, and he does tend to do this where he won't explicitly, tell you what's going on, but he'll give you a series of facts that will give you a lead to believe line of thinking. And so today he mentioned, Inner Circle Sports, which is, a group that helped Ryan Reynolds buy his team in Wales, Wrexham FC. This group also helped Eugene Melnyk in 2013 refinance with the Ottawa Senators and when he was having financial problems. And they helped broker the Habs sale in 2009 when George Gillette owned the team, which is I have a whole funny story about George Gillette from a while back we can get to another day. I actually met him one time, but that's besides the point here. What that tells you, though, is Ryan Reynolds is in the building. He's a prospective owner of the team or wants to be part of the group that owns it. He's got a relationship. This group has a relationship with the NHL and selling teams with the Habs in 2009. And there's a Senators connection there, too, with Eugene and of course, the Melnyk daughters who still own the team. So if that's not the trifecta for potential purchase of a team, then I don't know what it is. I'll be really surprised if Ryan Reynolds isn't part of whatever group ends up buying this team, because it would be insane for whatever group to buy this who does buy the team
not to take his money. Yeah.
And apparently there's a lot of people, and it's not about his money exactly. It's about his marketing, his ambassadorship. He's great for the league. He's great for this team. To not bring him in would be crazy. He has a track record of owning a team and bringing it from like the bottom to, all kinds of glory that they probably would have never had had he not purchased the team. He's exactly what the Sens need, and I am pumped that he's even thinking about it.
Yeah, it seems real. It seems very real. Like at first, I'll be honest, I thought this was just like a gimmicky fluff piece that caught fire, but all signs point to it happening, and there's not any good reasons why it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, here I got to answer my boy Ben, Mr. Dover. When I saw that photo of Travis Hamonic smiling, of course I was going to post it.
That was a beautiful slap shot.
I got plus 1,100, and I only put $2.03. Shout out number 23. Move the decimals. How are you? But hey, you like the net profit on that one, making up for a brutal money line defeat once again, responsibly.
Yeah, I was worried I was going to talk you off the ledge on that one, Ross, because when we were talking earlier today, you go, do I put money on Hamonic to score a goal, revenge game style? I'm like,
both me and Martian were like, nah.
No. Did he hit the over 2 shots either, or is that was his only shot? Because my hedge to you was he did have 2 shots in goal. I said if there's a line to bet 1.5 over shots, I'd take that because he does have a tendency to shoot, and he had 2 shots, so we were both right. But there was no real money on the line for me on that one. So
goal and an assist for Tim Stützle, 2 assists for Alex DeBrincat. But I think that we can speak for all Sens fans that personal accomplishments don't mean shit right now. It all comes down to 6 straight losses, getting absolutely no points, and now they go on the road to play the hottest team in the Eastern Conference. Pillsy, any final thoughts before we go?
Team stinks, man.
Martian?
They're losers. They're losing losers.
All right, we'll be back on Thursday's Postcast to break that down. But again, tomorrow's Locked On Senators with Alex Adams. Then, as we said, Bruce Garriock on Thursday and Mark Mathot on Friday. So a little bit of everything coming up for the rest of the week. We're going to do absolutely anything and everything as well. If you have any psychic spells, anything that we can switch the juju, I'm absolutely putting a New Jersey in that case tomorrow. Like, we need some feng shui to be changed up right now. Let's get some Go Sens go.
I'll switch to Jersey too, Ross.
Dude, that's what I was trying. I tried a new background and everything. I changed positions. I moved my desk for this. It didn't work.
Seth wants one more spin.
No. Oh, my goodness.
No, Seth. I'm sorry.
I can't, Seth.
I got to put my foot down here. 2 against 1, Ross.
Okay. If they lose next time, I get 7 spins, 1 for each loss.
No, we are not doing spins in November. I can't believe we even did that. This is low for us. This is low.
It is. Hey, it's low for the team as well. And if you're curious, the longest losing streak that I found was 7 games in regulation throughout this entire rebuild. So let's keep that in mind going forward, because I'm going to have some research to do on if this could potentially be the longest losing streak of the rebuild. Could you imagine the longest losing streak of the rebuild? We're not there yet. The Ottawa Senators take on the New Jersey Devils on Thursday. For today, we say goodbye. Thank you so much for sticking around after dark. For Lalim's Martian and Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. The Ottawa Senators lose their 6th in a row. They give up 6 goals, and they fall 6-4 to the Vancouver Canucks.